You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken. You have no idea what I just went through. No idea. You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. Welcome to Monday. Everything's going great today. My StreamYard for LinkedIn, I clicked it and it said, we will be disconnecting from LinkedIn in a few minutes. If you would like to reconnect, click here. I'm like, really? I got about 30 seconds. So then I click it. And then when I click it, it says, hey, log in to LinkedIn. I'm like, really? I was already logged in. So then I had to log in to LinkedIn. And then I said, let me check this password and see if it's right. Nope, it's not right. So I had to put in my password. And then it said, two-factor verification. Check your phone for the code. I'm like, I'm done. So I sit here and I play. You know why? It's Monday. It's Monday. You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. We're live from the American Family Insurance Studio at Radio City. I'm Dr. Ken Harris. DZ is here with me. And we're going to see what we're going to see. That's all I got. That's the only rhyme I got today. I love being here because now I am completely and totally overheated. And in about 5 minutes, I'm going to put my jacket on because it's going to be too cold. Because that's just how it is in radio. It has its ups and downs, right? But just like it is hot in here, isn't it?
What's up with that? I thought I was going through hot flashes.
You're not old enough to have hot flashes.
Menopause.
That's not till like 40s, 50s.
Yeah.
And do you have any gray hair?
Couple.
Okay, that don't count then. It's not
Menopause.
menopause. Just so you know.
Right? That's menopause. Men just be pausing.
Yeah.
Too hot.
Women pause. Why can't men?
I'm saying.
Anyway, whoo, that was a strange hole. So it's about to get bizarre. If you think it's hot now, did you get your property tax bill? Yeah. Okay. So I'm worried about the city of Milwaukee. Connect a couple things. First of all of the laws that went into effect yesterday were already on the books. Why weren't we simply enforcing them? Like, I don't understand why. Oh my God, you'll get your car that's unregistered is going to get towed. Well, then tow it. Like, what's the problem? Unless you have an idiotic fire and police commission that, well, we want you to get, it's gonna disproportionately impact minorities. It may impact poor people. But then again, guess what you should not be doing? Speeding, driving a car that's unregistered, reckless driving, right? We're not talking about the accidents that have occurred, the deaths that have occurred, the insurance that you don't have, and the seatbelt you don't wear. Something's confusing. Inflation. So if you need things like food, gas, simple stuff like that. Can't find, what was it? The news story that talked about we can't find baby formula because there's a shortage. Shocking. And you know what happens when there's a shortage of something, right? The price goes up. So, but wait, time out. It's not gouging. There's not enough of it. So naturally, when people tell you they will pay you more, you charge more.
Nobody said they pay more.
But that's not you have to.
Nobody asked me if I would pay more.
If you got babies,
they didn't hit me.
They don't.
I'm just hot about the baby formula, Dr. Ken.
I know. But guess what? It affects your food too. And the gas you put in your car, right? So people, now, I have to admit, I haven't felt inflation since the 1970s. So every time we've had a spike, it hasn't really affected me because I made enough money to have either savings or enough cushion that I was able to make it. That God has blessed me to be able to make it. And I had a job in law enforcement where you had to work every day, if not more. starting this week, there's going to be a heck of a lot of month left over at the end of a lot of people's money. And they're not going to know what to do. The simple thing is, if you have excess bills, this is my opinion, cutting your expenses does not save you money. The only way to do it is to go and get a part-time job. If not 2 jobs, you're going to increase the amount of taxes that you owe, but you're also going to increase your income, and be able to pay off your bills. Until we got our property tax bill. And so if you look at the property tax bills for the city of Milwaukee, where on average they went up 18%, the highest increases are in the hood. The highest increases are in an area with Alderman Khalif Rainey and Alderman Russell Stamper III. Or is he the second? I don't remember. So think about that. If you don't argue it, your property tax is now going to go up somewhere in a 30 to 32% range. So that means that if you're renting, your homeowner has to what? Charge you more rent to pay the increase. If you own a house, you either have to go get a part-time job or something so that you can make extra money to pay it. Now you get to go complain about it. You get to go say, hey, I don't think this is fair. We need to reassess it because they didn't come out to your house. They just decided we're going to change how we calculate it. And so now it's up. And so there are multiple components for your tax base. So when they lie to you and tell you, well, we didn't change this, but what did you change? But in the end, you end up paying more. The mill rate for Milwaukee, according to the county assessor, is 26.16. And so we get to play with that number and we get to look at what you pay, multiply that times per thousand, and we're talking some significant money, and that just went up. And that's just part of the calculation. That's not like the whole shebang, because the mill rate represents the amount of per every $1,000 of our property's assessed value. Assigned mill rates are applied to the total taxable value of the property in order to arrive at a property tax amount. And so when we sit and do this, we have to recognize that in the end, the only person that pays is at the bottom. So we got healthcare that costs too much. We got higher education that costs too much, that doesn't give back what they say it will. And we'll talk about the whole changes and some things I'm looking at with the school loan bailout. The house you live in costs too much. The rent you pay costs too much. The car you drive, used or new, costs too much. On top of that, inflation that we're pretending isn't happening. And on top of that, property tax increases to the point that you get a nosebleed every time you pay your rent or your mortgage. And as if that wasn't enough, if you get caught with an unregistered car and you weren't speeding and you weren't reckless driving, you may still get towed. They get charged, $120, $150 per tow, plus a $20 or $30 rental fee each day. And notice I said rental fee and not storage fee, because rental fee, they got your car, they using your car, you not. So if you just lose it for a day, we're talking what? Overnight, 150, 170, close to $200. If you think people are going to sit here and take it, if you don't think that people are not going to complain and protest, you are sadly mistaken. You enacted a rate hike when people are at their lowest. If you think Black Lives Matter has something on Milwaukee, you should be afraid. Because when the middle class and the upper class join with everybody else, when the educated and the high school graduates and dropouts get together, when the entire community turns on elected officials to complain and throws them out of office, they'll learn. But the amount of money people have to pay, the losses that people are sustaining with no foreseeable change in the future. Let me say this to the mayor of the city of Milwaukee, the common council president, and every council member. You need to remember one thing. Something's got to give.